within the Gwich'in settlement area, adjacent to the Inuvik settlement area, home to the Gwich'in, the Inuvik, other Indigenous people from throughout Canada and people from throughout Canada and the world, and it makes Inuvik a great place to live. With that, we'll move into item number 2, the adoption of the agenda. By Deputy Mayor Barlick, second by excuse me, Councilor Parrott. Any further discussions, additions to the agenda? All in favor? Mario, you're with us?
Yep, I am. Yep.
Just holler out anytime you got a question or
Yeah, we'll do.
Item number 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest with any of the agenda items. Seeing none. Item number 4, delegations, presentations, petitions. Don't see any of that. We just have staff here. Public question period. I think we're good on that. Adoption of minutes from the June 2nd and the 11th council meeting. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second by Deputy Mayor Barlick. Any corrections, changes needed on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Action items. Cindy, do you want to go through any of those that need attention or updates?
Sure, with regard to the first action item, the NTPC intervention, we did get notification that the Public Utilities Board has taken a look at the evidence during the intervention and actually agreed with a fair number of the recommendations from our expert witness, Mr. Madsen. And as a result, they have gone back to NTPC with some direction to address some of the issues that were raised, and they have 5 weeks to reply to those directions. And then once the PUB gets their information again, they will review again and then determine the rates. So right now, certainly from the indications based on what the lawyers have sent and the documentation from the intervention itself, it looks like their proposed rates won't be as high as they initially proposed. So they're making some recommendations. Hopefully we can see some of that fall back to ourselves and our residents. So once I hear more, we can expect probably August to September getting a clear decision on how the rates are going to be hiked. Boat launch, unless we had some good news today, we're still awaiting a response to the proposal.
Yes.
For the boat launch, yes. The land acquisition and future development, again, that is dependent on our community plan and zoning bylaw, which goes to the community plan and zoning bylaw. All of you would have had the documents sent to you for review. We're giving you kind of a month. We're going to look for some feedback before the meeting in July, so you have about 2 weeks to kind of chew on it. They're rather large documents, and certainly provide us feedback as you're doing that. Once we get the feedback from you and any revisions, we will then take it for a first reading and public consultation. So that's the plan. By August, we'll have the public consultation, and hopefully without any other revisions, we'll be able to send that to the minister for approval. And by September, we should have a community plan and zoning bylaw. And that's
Any questions for Cindy on any of the action items? Okay, if not, let's keep moving. Item number 8.1, approval for the final operating and capital budget for 2025. Let's get this on the floor. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Gillis. Any further, I know you've had this now for a couple of weeks, any further questions, discussion on any of the items in the budget? Deputy Mayor Barrett.
So not so much a question on the budget, but just having missed the last meeting on Wednesday when I was out of town, just to confirm the councilors had another good thorough run through everything and are comfortable with where we landed and everything. Seems to be okay from what I can read, but I didn't get to hear the discussion, so.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly staff were able to cut in some further areas, some stuff got moved into next year, we looked, staff met with Power Corp, so we don't have to buy a generator anymore, we can actually get backup power directly from the power plant, which is good for them and is good for us for some good reasons, and it does see us tapping into the debenture, which we were supposed to do last year, but we didn't do. We basically used some of this year's money to cover the utility costs. Yeah, some of the reserves that we would have had for this year, but I don't. The rest was, I think, just cutting because we kind of cutting the budget down because we had kind of told the town that we wouldn't have a tax increase this year, so we wanted to get down to that, and I really don't think we've lost anything. We're still providing good programs and services, and I think a realistic operating budget where hopefully we'll get done everything that we plan to do this year and not carry over half the capital budget like it's been done in the past. So it appears we're in pretty good shape. And next year we get a little bit more from MACA, and then in the third. I did, Cindy and I raised that with, when we had a meeting with the Deputy Premier and Minister for Finance, that MACA could have done a lot better job on explaining that rollout instead of telling everybody what they're getting in the third year, because that's what we thought we were getting in the first year. There was really no information that wasn't what we were getting, so. Anyway, but the other thing we raised with the finance minister was that pot of money that MACA talked about sitting there that other communities hadn't spent. So she did commit to looking into that, and if some of that can be used for infrastructure, I told her we've got lots of projects that can be used for. So yeah.
Thanks for the recap.
Yeah. Any further questions, comments on the final operating and capital budget? All those in favor? Motion
Aye.
carried.
Thank you.
Okay. New item here, this is the request for council decision. We'll get it on the floor, and then we do have Peter online. He can explain it a bit more. So moved by Deputy Mayor Barlick, seconded by Councillor Gillis. Discussion. Maybe what we'll do is, you probably looked at it, but let's let Peter give us a bit of an overview on why it's discretionary, and then we can ask any questions. Peter,
Thank you.
go.
Sure. Thank you, Your Worship. The lot in question is zoned core commercial under the current 2015 zoning bylaw, which explicitly does not include dwellings in it. It does allow for a discretionary use of, or discretionary permit, which between standard and discretionary permits is if it's a standard issuance, that means the development officer, in this case is myself, can issue the development permit without going through council. If it's a discretionary land use, it needs to be approved by council. The core commercial does allow for discretionary use for mixed commercial residential development. And at the time that this discussion started in mid-2024, the draft 2024 zoning bylaw did the same. Bit of a segue, but in the draft before you, you will see under the downtown zone, there multiple unit dwellings is listed as discretionary use under the downtown core. So anyway, what I suggested to IRC when they asked how to handle, their options were to either do a full rezoning from downtown core to some sort of medium density residential, or to include at least one some sort of commercial element in their building, which would allow them to apply for discretionary use permit that you see in front of you today. They decided on the latter stage because it is easier to get a discretionary use permit than it is to do a rezoning. They have allocated one two-bedroom suite as the space for that to be a live-work unit. We're still working on the floor plan for that unit, so it is a genuine live-work. Live-work means that you can have your self-contained living space, and your office or workspace is, well, in this case, in a multi-unit building, it's going to be an office. It's right there. You open a door and you walk into your office, the shortest commute possible. And that would usually have its own separate entrance, although, you know, in this hybrid work environment we often live in, that may or may not be necessary. So it's a bit of an argument. That discussion is ongoing. And we have as a condition on the development permit that will be resolved before the development permit is issued. But we're here today to discuss the concept of council issuing a discretionary use permit for this mixed-use building, which is mainly apartments with one mixed-use suite contained therein. Thank you. Clear as mud.
Peter, just for clarification, other than the building management and taking care of the building, there's no other commercial in this apartment?
None whatsoever.
Thanks. Questions, comments from council? Deputy Mayor Barlick?
I did have a look at it all. I'll speak in favor of the motion. I think this is sorely needed in the rental market in Inuvik. We definitely need some units to become available because people are on very long waiting lists. And as you said, this is kind of a new approach to have this sort of mixed work live unit. So I think trying it on a trial basis with a small number is a very reasonable approach.
Okay.
I got one question, Peter, if it's all right.
Go ahead, Mario.
We've got, I see that there's some parking there in the back. Is there like enough parking for every suite?
There are 24 suites and there are 24 parking stalls. So
Okay.
The resident parking will all be on the same site. We call that off-street, on-site parking. The bylaw also requires one, so for full disclosure, the zoning bylaw requires one parking stall for every four suites for visitors. And the proponent requested that they use adjacent properties also owned by IRC to allocate for visitor parking for this building. I discussed this with the Director of Infrastructure and we agreed it was reasonable in this case. And there is an email attachment to the development permit towards the end that sort of shows what they had in mind.
Okay, and would parking along the sidewalk in front be allowed on a temporary thing as well?
Well, that would be called on-street parking, and that would remain the property of the city. So I'm sure people who are visiting are going to stop on the street. I have no doubt about that, to visit friends or family or whatever at the building. But that the zoning bylaw still requires that there be on like on their private property 6 stalls for visitors to visit.
Yeah, the only point I was trying to get at, I don't even know if it really makes a big difference, but I do know that, you know, at the Mackenzie Hotel, for example, people go in there for lunch and supper, they park and they take off. My worry would be that, you know, if people come to visit friends in that apartment, use the street to park and stay there overnight or for a couple days, then become snow removal. You know, it's a pretty busy intersection at that point. I just want to know if that's a concern that we should be looking at.
We have not looked at it to date. My suggestion would
I would
be,
say, Counselor Lemieux, that's pretty. I would say that's pretty easily mitigated by just putting up some no parking signs in the section. We do not want vehicles parking along the street.
Or 1 hour parking or.
Yeah, that's controlled by us and we can easily mitigate that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, any further questions, comments? Peter, what's the setback? Just looking at the drawing there, it seems like some of the, I don't know if it's decks or fronts are fairly close to the sidewalk there. What's the actual setback on the Mackenzie Road side?
it is 0 meters.
Looks like their ramp actually starts at the sidewalk to go up into the building.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Sorry, Peter, can you repeat your reply? I don't think they heard you.
Oh, sorry. The setback, the zoning bylaw setback for the front yard is 0 meters. And so the building is within the setbacks required. Sorry, I had said 0 meters. I guess people didn't hear me. But the building is within the zoning bylaw setbacks, with the small exception of the very toe of the ramp extends a little bit into the side yard setback near the intersection, which, you know, at that stage is going to be like 3-4 inches high. So I didn't worry about it.
Okay, no, I was just wondering what it was, you've given me the drawings that are done there. Okay, any further questions, comments on this motion? All those in favor?
I
Okay, motion passed.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Council.
Peter.
Thank you.
Bylaws, item number 9, bylaws, annual tax billing. Just get a motion. Moved by Councilor Barrett, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any further discussion on, or any discussion on this? It's pretty straightforward. We have to have this in order to continue to collect the tax. Yes. All those in favor? Motion carried.
That's. Those students. So this is a bylaw, so you'll have to read the,
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
All right. So the motion is, be it resolved that the Inuvik Town Council hereby gives first reading to the bylaw 2750 tax 25, the 2025 annual tax billing bylaw. So I guess we have to go through this twice. So we've had a motion that's been carried, and now we need the second motion. Be it resolved that the town of Inuvik hereby gives second reading to the bylaw 2750 tax 25, the 2025 annual tax billing. So moved by Councilor Barrett, moved by Deputy Mayor Barrett, seconded by Councilor Day. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, good, thanks. Departmental updates, are we ready with corporate services? Stephen, you're ready first? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. This is departmental update for corporate services. Attached to your documents are two documents from corporate services. One on capital projects and second one on operational budget. I'll be referring to them because of my presentation. Capital projects report for as of June 20th, 2025. It's already been distributed. It's fairly long, but these are just the highlights. As of Friday, June 20th, out of the annual capital budget of 15.6 million, 1.6 million has been spent, an increase of $256,000 from last month. And out of 52 approved projects, 29 have expenses. And the others are yet to, they're at various stages of, tendering and all of that. Detailed comments are in the distributed reports, and the respective directors can speak to the variances if you require more details on that. And some changes have been proposed in the final project. Next page. Operating expenses variance report for January to May. So this report was also distributed, and the highlight is what I have here. Can give more details if required. We had a total for total revenue, we have a deficit of 609,000, mainly from admin and physical. Total expenses 650,000 deficit, mainly from admin and parks and recreation. And the major reasons are stated there, which are shortfall in actual revenue from MACA, write-off of unrealized revenues from the auction sale. Some of those properties had accumulated a lot of expenses, and we had some write-offs because of that. Then we had legal costs concerning tax collection, and mainly also related to the auction. More notes are in the distributed report. And we also made some changes for the final budget. Next page. What we accomplished in the last 1 month. Our first quarter CPI and CCBF reports have been finalized with marker. Before now, we've always had it like in a year because of our backlog, but we've caught up with that now, and our quarterly reports are now, we're now able to do reports quarterly. There's an annual report from Stats Canada that involves giving them information on annual capital and repair expenditure. It's kind of a solve with many pages, so we're able also to achieve that in the last 1 month. Interim property tax billing eventually went out. We've been getting payments for that. We also issued a request for information for a new accounting software. We got about two responses, and we had already commenced discussion with one of the vendors as well. So more work still need to be done along that line. But the priority right now is the final audit, which in the what's coming up, we have follow-up with auditors to finalize the 2024 audit. The audit was completed about 2 months ago. We're yet to get it draft. I was promised 26th, so I'm trusting that tomorrow I should get it draft and then review it with them and then send it to marker for finalization. And then also, of course, the analysis of responses to the RFI and the further research to streamline requirements. And update accounting system. Update MAIS, our accounting system. When the budget is finalized, I need to now get all the figures, all the budget figures into the system. So that's what I'm looking at doing in the coming weeks. Aside from that, I can take questions.
That's just. Look at some of the numbers. Questions from council? Deputy Mayor Barely.
Thank you, Stephen, for the work on putting this together. Not so much a question, just a comment for the operating budget variance. I found it useful in the past to have a percentage of the variance included as a column, just to kind of know what sort of percentage we're off, because sometimes the dollar figure looks large, but in comparison to the actual budget, the percentage that it's off may not actually be that much. So that's helpful, I think, to have a little column including the percentage of the variance as well. Thank you.
Further questions from council on any of the budget items, operating or capital? Being none. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Next is infrastructure, Daniel.
Quick update from the Department of Infrastructure. I'll go over a couple of capital projects. So the electric fence at the landfill. Construction is underway for the berm, which will hold up the fence. They started that about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they hope to be done by next week with the berm. And then we would have the contract of building the posts and getting ready for the fence construction within the next month here. So but in terms of budget, it was budgeted at 1.025, and we've currently spent only about 17,708. The hope is to have this completed this year by the winter, to have the fence energized, and hopefully we can achieve that schedule. That's not working, Jess. Children's First Flooring, the budget, as we know, is 100,000. This has been reissued for tender, and that went back out to tender June 18, and is proposed to close July 2nd. That's not June 2nd, sorry. July 2nd. MSC structural assessment. So the budget for this, we had 484,395. That was budgeted this year. We spent about 65,000. The project is still in progress, and data collection is in progress. I actually just received a 122-page document about an hour ago, so I hadn't included that in this report. So I'll have to look into that, and I'll probably present about that in the next session. But we did have the ground penetrating radar inspection completed today. And the report will be expected in the next couple of weeks. So the guys flew up, and they did the entirety of the building, swimming pool area, the hall, the ice rink, and the coloring side. So hopefully we can get to see what's going on under the building and see why we're having all the shifts and stuff. Facilities. So the guys picked up the flowers from the greenhouse, and they've been putting that around town. We had a couple of them at the Welcome Center, in the halls and downtown core, and around town, and they keep watering that obviously to keep it alive for the season. They helped with the setup for the ADE and the kids carnival, cleaning out the tents and stuff like that. So thanks to that team, we're able to have some of our events happen in a clean venue. Community beautification. So this ran to June 20th. So that's a picture right there of one of the businesses taking in there for free tipping. So free tipping, that all went smoothly. Yeah, that was concluded last week, Friday. Community services. So obviously we have the contract upgrading the roads as required. The street super has been out. Unfortunately, there's an issue with it right now, and we're working with the technicians to try to figure out it keeps losing power. So we're trying to figure that out right now, but but it's been out the last couple of weeks. We've also had calcium applied to most of the gravel roads to help with dust abatement. That was Navy Road towards Norton there, that picture on the right hand side. And we'll try to keep up with the dust abatement for the rest of the season. Hazardous waste removal. So we have a contribution agreement with Marker. And they had KBL as the contractor on that. So they were in town last week. They left on Friday, trying to remove most of the hazardous waste we have at the landfill. So the batteries and all the taking out the gas from the white metals, the fridges and all that stuff. And they loaded a truck up as of Friday that has left. They are currently in Aklavik and they intend to be back to do some more work for another 3 days to help to pollute the vehicles and all that stuff that we have at the landfill. Thank you for your time. Any questions from council?
Thank you, Daniel. Questions, comments for Daniel on any of the infrastructure projects, programs, Deputy Mayor Barrett?
Thank you. So I know there's been a lot of construction happening on the berm at the landfill again. I had a team out there installing some of the cameras and stuff, and they noticed that there was 2 or 3 areas where there was small washouts from the spring melt.
Off the berm?
Yeah. So there's no culverts or anything put in there, but is that a concern? Is that just perhaps a artifact of the type of fill that was used and they're putting in better fill now, or?
Oh no, culverts is part of the design, just haven't done that yet.
Okay, so it's still to be installed. Okay,
So that's gonna
we
be-
should mitigate that problem. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments, Daniel? I see Navy Road got calcium and then the other roads in the industrial area also got calcium?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just out at Shell Lake that we're still waiting for?
That's the only road currently that hasn't had calcium applied, yes.
Okay.
Now we have requested additional calcium from the supplier. He's just he's run out of calcium, so he's trying to figure out if he can get us some from the States, but he's looking into it and I'll get back to us.
Yeah. Given that they haven't done, infrastructure hasn't done a bypass road, they also must be out.
I can't speak for them, but I do know from their schedule, they do their dust abatement in July. So I think in June, they do all the gravel road repairs, widening and have all that tendered, and then in July, they start their dust abatement.
Okay.
That's my understanding of their schedule. So I don't know if they already have a stockpile, but I do know the contract was won by somebody completely different that's gonna actually drive up with the calcium.
Okay.
So
All right, just notice how dusty it's been lately, especially on the new wellness center on the white. It's pretty much brown now with the dust. Well, thank you, Daniel.
That's not our responsibility.
Next, we have Trace for Park and Recs.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me here tonight. This is the Parks and Recreation update. So to start off, we have some key performance indicators for some of our facility amenities and some of our programs. Starting on the left, the June fitness memberships, they will only track from June 1st up until June 24th yesterday, but you can see we have 100 total. Our most popular membership by far is our 1 month membership, followed in a distant second by the daily drop-in. So starting to collect some numbers there. Moving on to the 2025 Midnight Sun Fun Run. You can see we had 7 brave souls attempt the half marathon portion, but by far the 5 kilometer was the most popular with 63. Had a total of 87 participants this year, which was a really good turnout considering the weather and other obstacles that we ran into. So glad that turned out as well as it did. Another program we have coming up is our 2025 summer camp. We currently have 92 kids across 8 weeks registered. There's still lots of room and lots of time to register, but some promising numbers early on. We do have capacity for 30 kids every week, so we see the first couple of weeks are getting a little more close to full, but we definitely have lots of room as the summer goes on. Moving on to the swimming pool, those are averages, average amount of bathers in each of those swim times. So as you can see, swim lessons is fairly popular. The teen swim, the adult swim also attract quite a few people. So just trying to figure out, which are the best time slots, the things that we might be able to change or add to get more people into the pool at different times. Looking back kind of at what we did over the month of June, we were the host venue for the 2025 ADE. That was a fantastic event put on by Charlotte and her team. As Daniel said a minute ago there, the infrastructure team assisted with the Muskrat Kitty Carnival, getting the pavilion all together, making sure things are ready to go that way. One of the exciting things we've had on the go is some new fitness center upgrades. So we got a brand new stair stepper that seemed to be the consensus piece of equipment that the community was looking to have. So that made it up there today. Installation should be finished tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing how the community responds to that and how they're feeling about that. We got some new upholstery on some of the more worn weight equipment, just a nice little update there. We have new windows coming in that should be completed before the end of the month. And then to combat some of the heat, we're also installing a portable AC unit. So hopefully things will be a little more comfortable for anybody that uses the gym over the summer. Our free yoga program has been super popular. That's put on by Emily Saucer, one of the occupational therapists at the hospital, and she's graciously agreed to do that for free for us. So that will continue until July 2nd. And then unfortunately her contract has ended. So she will be carrying on to other adventures, but we are going to look to replace it with something else, hopefully free as well. As I said, the Midnight Sun Run was something else we finished. I just wanted to take a second and thank our coworkers in municipal enforcement, Brian and Steph and Carl. They were a huge part of making sure that event went off as well as it did. Things were a little touch and go for a while. We had to do some route retooling and things like that. So it definitely would not have happened without them. So I just want to make sure that, they know that we're super thankful to them and really appreciate their help. As Daniel said, the pool inspection is completed. I myself am waiting to see those results. Another thing that we've added to the swimming pool is an elders swim on Wednesdays. So that's a super popular one. It goes hand in hand with the elders range of motion that happens on Thursdays. So there's a couple of elders activities during the day. Is there anything way I can see under that one, Jenna?
Indigenous Day activities.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So Saturday we hosted the annual helped out with the annual Indigenous Day activities. That was a partnership with local community groups. It was the barbecue. There was some live music. We felt like the event went really well. So happy to have that for the community again. And also that past weekend, we had the Gary Harley Memorial Softball Tournament. Everything seemed to go well with that. So it's nice to get some of those tournaments happening. Lots on the go last weekend, and the team really pulled together and made sure everything went off flawlessly. So really happy with that. Ooh, sorry. Looking forward into the end of the month and into July, as I said, Camp Kabuni, our summer camp, that'll kick off July 7th. So just doing some finalization, some planning for that. We'll be utilizing the youth center. Really excited about having that space to have camp out of there this year. We have our Canada Day events coming up at Jim Cooey. So we'll have a free barbecue for the community. There'll be some live entertainment. We've had some entertainers reach out. Really excited for that in conjunction with the parade. From the pool side of things, National Drowning Prevention Week will be from July 20th to the 26th with different events put on by our lifeguards and aquatics crew. So stay tuned for more of that, more info on that. The life jacket loaner stations are going out. They're just pending an inventory count, which our lifeguards and aquatic staff are diligently working on as we speak. So that should be coming sooner rather than later, especially with some of the hot weather on the horizon. Another addition to the aquatic schedule, also exciting, we've certified a brand new aquatics instructor, aquafit instructor, in-house, and they will be teaching classes Thursday from 6 to 7 and Sunday from 1 to 2. So just adding to that depth of programming and looking to offer things to different groups and get people out. Hot tub update, the system is now fully operational. There's no leaks. The one minor issue that's waiting in our way is just a small ball valve installation project for the jet system. Once that's done, they'll be able to fill the hot tub, balance the chemicals, and fingers crossed we'll be good to go. Coming up this weekend is the Women's Regional Softball Tournament. So another exciting event. Again, the infrastructure crew and the maintainers are doing a great job of getting those fields ready to play, and all the user groups seem happy so far. So something we're just gonna keep an eye on and make sure that continues. Another partnership that came across just this week is IRC is gonna be doing some youth yoga during the summer, and we're looking to possibly have that in conjunction with summer camp as one of our activities. So a really good community partnership there. And then it's gonna be all hands on deck in the coming weeks, just getting ready for the Great Northern Arts Festival and everything that brings. Another great community event, and excited for that. So lots on the horizon, and summer's our busy season and looking forward to it. We've got the right team in place, so I think we'll manage to get everything done just fine. Does council have any questions?
Great, thanks, Trace. Questions from council on any of the activities? Certainly been busy there. Councilor Bear.
Just first off, well done. I've heard lots of really positive community feedback with regards to the fitness center, the QR codes and some of the positive changes that are happening and upcoming as well. So well done on that. As well as the great coverage for the run. This is the best coverage for patrolling I've seen ever. I've been running the race for over 10 years. So well done to everyone and the great communication there. I know that I'm continuing to hear some comments recently that they really want the life jacket loaner station up and going. I know you've said in your update that it's prioritized and you've got your staff working on it, so that's a real positive. But I just wanted to communicate that the boat launch is already busy, the weather's great, and there are individuals that are waiting for that to get out there, so keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information, Councilor Parrott. I will relay that to the aquatics team. Like I said, we'll get those out sooner rather than later, especially if, the boat launch is already busy and, we want those things out and the community safe that way. So absolutely.
Any further questions, comments from council? All right, thanks, Trace.
Thank you.
Have and tourism, Charlotte.
Good evening. So as you know, we hosted the Arctic Development Expo last week with more than 220 attendees, 33 speakers, 46 exhibitors with 15 booth stall. And we had 12 activities, workshop tours that you can see on the pictures here, like the satellite station or a drone by ARI. We had 11 sponsors that we got roughly $70,000 cash and in kind roughly $30,000. It was a real success, thanks to all the town staff, all sponsors, and thanks for the guidance and support of the mayor. Also, finance-wise, I've exploded the revenue budgeted, so we're good on that one. Next is Arctic Market is now on every Saturday on the boardwalk from 11 to 2. There is a special edition for Canada Day on July 1st. I believe it's actually Tuesday. Whatever. And Culture Connections are workshops held by local instructors. You can do different crafts. The first one was yesterday. That's the picture on the right-hand side. They were doing sealskin ornaments. And next week will be with Bambi doing wood picks. Sealskin wood picks as well. And that's running all summer long from 5:30 to 8:30. A different project that we finished too, town building side. Hopefully you've seen them when entering the building, that there is a beautiful sign on top of our main door now. And the new website was launched on June 11th. There's still a lot to do on that one. It's out, but if you navigate on the pages and you see there's something wrong, please send an email, because there's thousands of pages on that thing and I'm not up to date on that. And that's pretty much it for.
Thanks, Charlotte. Questions, comments for Charlotte on any of the items that they've been doing? Deputy Mayor Barrett.
Just a quick question, it's great to see, got some sponsorships with cash and in kind. As far as financially, was their Arctic Development Expo relatively successful? Some years has been costs by the town. But it kind of ran on budget this time.
It has, yeah, anything that was budgeted for was, yeah, it's within budget and revenues are higher. But costs are always higher every year. I know the question was raised, is it really worth it? I believe so, in the sense of it's putting Inuvik on the map, and a lot of people right now, I'm having feedback on the success of the expo is people are making contacts for future projects. That will most likely benefit our community as well as the Brooklyn Delta, so.
Certainly all the feedback we've got so far from all the attendees, the speakers, the people who had booths, our booths were up, what, almost from 30 to 50? The trade show booths this year,
How many we had?
yeah, like
50.
from last year to this
Oh,
year.
last year we were around 28, 30.
Yeah, so considerably more. But the other encouraging thing, there was a real buzz in the trade show area. Lots of people touching base with everybody that had booths there, and the actual conference, people were hanging it. We ended at 3 each day, and then we did tours or demonstrations or smaller focus groups. But people, the community hall was, you know, had a good crowd every day, so definitely lots of engagement. And the fact that we're able to discuss those issues in the Arctic, we're talking Arctic sovereignty, security, Arctic infrastructure, I think was really positive, and the feedback has been really positive, and we do plan to do some lessons learned, and then moving forward into next year. But was today with the ambassadors, I think I've secured an ambassador panel from Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. All 3 ambassadors would like to come next year, so to kind of do a circumpolar Arctic security panel. So yeah, very positive feedback from everybody this year.
Excellent. No, it's really good to hear. I mean, that's encouraging. I think as well, I think the ADE is definitely worth having. It's a nice premier event for Inuvik, and to be able to see increases in booth buys and registration and interest and buzz. There's a few years where it was a little bit grim, but it's really good to see it coming back and getting a lot of interest in participation. So
Yeah.
Great job.
Any further questions, comments for Charlotte on any of the activities? The signs look great, so that's really good. Councilor Parrott.
I was gonna make a comment about the signage. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the great signage that has been developed and is up in around town. I think it's wonderful and it's timely. So well done with that.
Thanks. Just a little quick note, we're missing one sign on the Midnight Sun complex. It will come in 2 weeks. Before I get questioned.
The other great thing about the signs, they're made locally. Juan was able to put the signs together. He had to order the boxes and stuff, but was able to make them here at Inuvik. So a good thing. No further questions, comments? Thanks, Charlotte. Great job. Inuvik Works, Patricia.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. I have the Inuvik Works update for you this evening. So in May, we diverted 3,063 pounds from the landfill. And in June, we've almost doubled that. We weigh everything that comes in to the next to new store. And the amount of donations that we're getting is a little overwhelming some days. It's a little hard to keep up to, and we all can't wait for the store to open and be able to start moving some of that. So we have received some more funding. So the GNWT Waste Reduction Initiative give us $21,720. And so that is why we're weighing all the items from the landfill. And we're recording what we're doing, and we're doing some environmental stewardship. So you might see on our Facebook page or some of our events, we asked some questions about environmental stewardship, and we're gonna compile that information and decide what we can do with it, and if we can help with that a little bit from our perspective. It's not shown on this report because I just found out earlier this week that the Inuvik Community Corp has also set aside 40,000 for us. And Jerome came into my office to tell me personally, he just got back into town on Tuesday, I think, and he came in and told me and said he'll work on the contribution agreement and the letter, and he'll get that to us. So that is altogether $61,720 more than what I had last report. We have one participant that has completed module 1 of the mobile mills training, and it was in partnership with the GTC and the UNITAT, and he successfully completed that. We have 5 crew members that took the soft skills training, and we have 4 that completed. It says 3, 1 had to go out of town on medical and came back and completed it again since I wrote this report. So we had 4 that completed. One highlight, we're looking for a next to new administrator again. We had a staff that resigned, is going off to work on some other things. We expect in Inuvik Works that they'll come, they'll gain their confidence, figure out what they want to do, and go off and do wonderful things. And so we've already had our administrator make a career choice. GTC has started training participants with their soft skills, and we have a training plan with them moving forward. Mentorability, we completed our first match, so we had a mentee that was matched with a mentor, and it was a successful completion. We have funds anticipated, we're waiting on still from the GNWT, Department of EC&E, ICC, and GTC. And if you look at the tables, you will see that we have the ones in green are money that we have, or if it's green all the way across, we have it in a letter. And if it's green on the left-hand side, that means we're just very close to getting an agreement or a signature on it. And we have a lot of proposals out still, and so this is a list of proposals and partners and what we've asked for, and whether it's an in-kind donation or if we're at the bottom there, you'll see we've been declined by some funders and or we're not eligible. So that's what that graph talks, that table talks about. So what we've accomplished so far is number 5 Berger was renovated and set up for the next to new store. The shelves and racks are fully stocked. The store is full. We've helped, it says 2 organizations, but it's up to 3 as today. The Inuvik Youth Center, the Anglican Church, and Hope House. We've done projects with all those organizations. The Inuvik Youth Center was the biggest one, and we spent just over a week in there painting, cleaning, organizing, and getting ready for the next program that's going to be using that building. And the crew has worked diligently on all those projects. We're up to 8 elders as today that we've assisted by the Inuvik Works crew, and the list just keeps growing. I get calls from elders, or they walk in to see me and we fill out the form together, and it's been mostly yard cleanup and dump runs so far. There's spring cleaning, so to speak. We have one that has requested to learn how to drywall patch. So tomorrow, 2 of our crew members are going to go in and help her patch some minor drywall. She wants to learn how, so. We held a whale of a deal sale outside of the building, and it was good traffic and getting people knowing about us and being able to ask some good questions, and we made a few sales. We did a bag sale, and that's the items that don't quite make it to our store display. They have a little blemish or a little bit too worn or something, and so we call it a whale of a deal sale because people can use it for whale camp or on the land or gardening or whatever they would like. We developed a service and fee schedule, so elders, we do the job for free. If there's any materials involved, they're asked to supply the materials. Nonprofit organizations, we ask them to supply the materials. If they have a designated budget, we work with them in that budget. If they don't have a budget, then we'll consider doing the work for free. And for any individual that's not, doesn't fit into the elder category, then, or if it's a company, then we charge them basically what it costs to do the job. So we charge them the wages for the crew, plus mercs, and also a small admin fee and any materials and equipment that they need to be able to do the job. We attended the ADE. We garnered lots of interest in all of our programs, particularly the mentorship program. I handed out 28 QR codes for mentors to sign up, and we signed up 1 mentee on site and 2 more mentees that were interested. So lots of traffic and positive results from that. What's coming up? The soft opening of next to new when our POS systems arrive. We're hoping that it comes this week so that we can figure it out on the weekend and maybe start some soft sales sometime next week. They're in the mail somewhere. We're increasing the intake of mentors and mentees. Like I said, we've had lots of interest in that. And our crew list of jobs to complete for elders and organizations and nonprofits continues to grow. And so we hope to be able to help more of the community in the coming days. So Inuvik Works and Next to New are well on their way to some great programming and community support. And do any of you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Patricia. Questions from council? Comments? Well, great job on the funding and great job on getting it there and active, and hopefully we can open the doors to Next to New soon, because yeah, all the shelves, all the hangers, everything is full, so we're just waiting for that point of sale equipment to get in so that we can open up. Great job. Councilor Gillis.
That's fantastic. Your whale of a deal, I was just thinking about those clothes that don't make it into the cut. Our company buys bag of eggs. Have you thought of that? Cause they're like $80-90 for a bag of eggs, if you've ever heard. They have to be cotton, obviously, but I'm sure lots of companies in town buy bag of eggs. We'll just keep that in.
We have the best bag of rags in town. We have plush rags for an economical price. When we open, come and check it out. We spent, well, not me, but some of the crew spent a whole day cutting rags. So yeah, we have products. And yeah, and we've also had our friends off the street come in and do their seasonal change of clothing, and they've chosen from the Whale of the Deal selection as well. So it's been very useful. And you may have noticed we also have a new sign up that one made for us, and it has our new logos on it. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Thank you for your time.
Councilor Gillis.
It was just one more comment you didn't mention, but like it was on there, Angus Olenikid is your foreman for, that's really exciting. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, a bit of history there, because Angus used to cover for Roy when he was off, and then when Roy passed, Angus was the foreman, so, yeah, and he's been great with the guys, they were playing guitar today and singing during coffee break, so he's great.
We had a real sing-along happening in our building. An old guitar, a couple of old guitars they put together and made one. It was great.
Yeah, they're having way too much fun. Thank you, Patricia. Information items, community plan review, zoning bylaw review. Cynthia?
As I said in my action items, those are for your review. We will be reaching out to you within the next couple of weeks for feedback that we can incorporate into it. With the expectation that the July council meeting will be able to take it into first reading.
So any comments you have on them, and please review the community plan and the bylaw, because that's very important, and if we want to make any changes, we need to do that before first reading, because after first reading, it'll then go out for consultation to all of our stakeholders, the community, and then it'll come back for second reading, and then it goes to the minister, gets approved there, and then comes back to us for a third reading. So really important that everybody goes through that, just to make sure that everything we need to include will be included. I've already gone through the maps, and we do have to make some changes there. Not all the changes were included from what we earlier had looked at, but yeah, take the time to go through them. That will be very important. Okay, pretty much covered item 11.3 already. Just to recap it. Our development expo went, I think, beyond our expectations, and tons of positive feedback from everybody who attended. And we are doing an evaluation on that, still in our recent memory. Ambassador's visit was, they're supposed to get here on Tuesday, 22 ambassadors and 10 staff. They actually got here Monday because they couldn't get into Dawson because of the airport was closed because of the fires. So then yesterday they went to Tuck, and then the Inuvik hosted a dinner for them last night in the complex. And then this morning, all morning, was supposed to be 3 hours, ended up being 4 hours. Myself and Jerry Kassoon did a tour for them, and then they went to the Inuvik Native Band and had lunch, and then they flew out of here this afternoon to Cambridge Bay. So yeah, great to see them, and good to get all of those people out of Ottawa. I mean, some obvious economic benefits, fills up the hotels, the restaurant crew are busy, but they also, you know, pay for the feast and pay for the lunch today. So good connections for all of them, and hopefully some of them, we'll get some of them back in the future. Other items not on here, but the Canada Day Parade on July 1st, on Tuesday. The Legion's organizing that. As mayor, I'll be walking in it. If any of the councilors want to throw on a red t-shirt, it's gonna be a hot day, and walk with me. Gonna be handing out some freezies, or get some kids to hand out some freezies. But yeah, just a great day, and I think showing we're proud to be Canadian, given some of the stuff we're getting from the leader in the South. It's a good thing to do. The Legion's got some stuff planned, as Trace said. There'll be some stuff in the Jim Couey Park, and yeah, the weather looks great. Any questions on any of the information items, or any other information items? Oh, yes. The parka. Did you want a model? So this is the parka from Virginia. The one of the homes or shelters there had a parka drive, And I don't know if you heard the CBC interview. Anyway, the woman doing the park and drive looked at it and saw, wow, this is a piece of artwork. It's not just a parka. It was made in Inuvik probably late sixties, early seventies when the Inuvik parka factory was here. Lots of local women worked in that parka factory. Ruby McLeod worked there, but so did Wanda as a teenager, worked in that. So when we were doing the interview, she said, yeah, I actually worked in that parka factory. And her mom worked there for several years. Lillian Elias worked in there for a number of years. So probably most of the elders that are still around at one time worked in there. So Jenna worked with the woman in Virginia and we're in contact, and she mailed it up, and here it is today. So we're gonna see whether the Arts Festival would like to display it, because it's somewhere around 55 to 60 years old, but in perfect condition. It shows nowhere at all. You would easily get on the racket next to new. But probably what we'll do with it is see whether the Arts Festival wants to display it. And then we'll look for someplace in the Welcome Center or on the wall somewhere to display it. But yeah, take a look at it afterwards, but it's in perfect shape and can be worn with the cover. Just the cover can be worn, or it can be worn without the cover. And it's got, all of those parkas had the felt designs on the actual wool. So yeah, it was great. Any further information items from anyone? Oh, yes, Deputy Mayor Barrow.
Thank you, Mayor Clarkson. So I just had received a request yesterday from the mayor, just to give folks an update on bears, since it's a hot topic in the community right now, given my other role, with environment and climate change, and dealing with bears in town. So I did speak with the manager of wildlife and environment today. That's the division that's responsible for bear response. And it's kind of already been put out there. There have been 3 bears that were assessed as a potential public safety hazard, one that probably definitely was. Those 3 bears have been dispatched. So, and they were all kind of in and around the periphery of the community for the most part. So every bear response is assessed individually by the officer that's responding. We do have a 24-hour on-call phone line where really hope people are phoning it when they do see bears and not just posting it on Facebook, but that is kind of monitored as well to see when that happens. So if anyone's not sure, the number is 678-0289. Please put it in your phone as an on-call wildlife emergency number. So there, during bear season, usually from May through to October, that line will be monitored 24 hours a day by an on-call officer. And they will go out and respond to any calls they get that warrant that, because sometimes there's people who call because they saw a bear, sort of on the other side of the bypass somewhere in the wilderness. That isn't necessarily an urgent situation. However, the officer will usually go and monitor, see if the bear does start to incur into the community. And that's where there may be a public safety risk. So it's very exciting to see bears for people. We also try to make sure that situations are managed when there is a decision to dispatch. At times in the past, they've had to call an RCMP to actually do traffic control because once people know a bear is around, everybody wants to go see it, which can cause dangerous situations or escalate the danger of a situation when the bear feels crowded and cornered in particular. So the ones that have come into town have all basically been sub-adult bears. They're younger ones. There's a little bit of a feeling that the dump may be kind of at capacity with the bears that are in there, and these are younger ones that have kind of been pushed out and are looking for another place to access things. So the situation is being monitored. Other than the 3 that have kind of been there, mainly just the one aggressive bear that was listed and talked about by the golf course. That one was a particular concern. The other ones, I would say, had come into the community and if they're assessed as not having an appropriate fear response, then it can be assessed as a potential public safety risk and the officer may make a decision to dispatch at that point. So one was definitely a risk because it had been acting aggressively towards people on a few occasions. So that one was purposely sought and put down. The others were individual assessments. So other than that, it's been a relatively typical bear year. There are bears around. We are in bear country, so people just need to make sure they be bear aware, especially if they're walking the bypass and other, because you're right on the edge of bear country right there. But just to be aware, be prepared, and understanding how to behave if a bear is encountered. Normally, they're not that interested in people. They will go out of their way to avoid people as much as possible. But there are some signs you can watch for where you may have indications of an aggressive bear. So it would be really smart for people to learn those little cues. But most of the time, it's young ones, they're curious, they don't really know what they're doing, they're coming around looking for something to get into. But please call the wildlife emergency line and encourage other people to do so as well, and don't just post it on Facebook.
Great, thanks, Stephen, appreciate that, appreciate the information. The one bear that had followed Chase Steve Dagger and his dog down the Spruce Hill Drive, then went through our yard to get down to the lake again, or get down to the trail. And the dogs still will not go down that trail. The bear scent is there, and so they're very aware. So we have to put them in the car and take them down to the golf course, which is bears there too, or down to the thing, but they leave enough scent that the dogs are just, no, we're not getting off the deck. You go, we're not going. So they definitely are very bear aware.
Oh, sorry, maybe I'll just, and just so people know, so one, there's obviously the bear that was put down on Stringer, which was the one that got a lot of attention late at night, because that was sort of right in town. There was one, I believe, around Hospital Hill. And the third one was around the bypass. So I believe it was crossing the bypass road coming towards town. So the officer made a precautionary assessment at that moment to dispatch that bear to stem off any potential public safety risk.
Yeah.
So those are the three areas that have happened. But other than that, it's been largely a typical year. We often do have a few, 1 to 2 or 3 bears that may get put down every year for public safety risk.
Great, thanks. And as a community, we're also saddened by the passing of one of the wildlife officers, Kevin Allen, who passed away and has been a wildlife officer for probably over 20 years now, and doing a great job in the community, but unfortunately passed away.
One last thing, so in light of that situation too, there has been another officer brought up from the south to help assist with the patrol. So there is still capacity in the office to do that.
Yeah. Great, thanks everyone. Any further questions, comments, or on council concerns? Oh, sorry, information items. And we are going item number 12, council concerns. Seeing none, we will have a motion to go in camera. Moved by Deputy Mayor Barelick, seconded by Councilor McDonald, all in favor? Great. Great job, appreciate everything you're doing.